stuff like that, then the lyrical content really became more of a factor, and people wanted to hear, what is you saying? What are you saying? What is you really saying? You're saying something. If you're not saying nothing, we don't want to hear it.
A rap artist from Kansas City is gunned down and killed in Las Vegas. Tonight, some on the street are wondering, is it revenge for the murder of a West Coast rapper here?
Mac Dre was found in a car, shot to death. The car wrecked, went off the highway, and essentially the same thing happened to Fat Tone.
On the night of October 30th, 2004, gunfire ripped through a highway in Kansas City, Missouri. A white van veered out of control. Inside was one of the most influential figures in West Coast independent rap. Less than 3 weeks later, on November 19, 2004, another respected Bay Area rapper was shot and killed outside a nightclub in Las Vegas. 2 cities, 2 murders, one fragile connection that would fuel rumors, retaliation theories, and a wound that never fully closed. The deaths of Mac Dre and Fat Tone were not random acts of violence in isolation. They unfolded within the tight, competitive, and often volatile ecosystem of independent hip-hop in the early 2000s. Their stories began in different cities, but by the end of 2004, they were forever linked. Mac Dre was born Andre Lewis Hicks on July 5, 1970, in Oakland, California. He was raised in Vallejo, a city that would become central to his identity and music. In the late 1980s, he began rapping under the name Mac Dre, forming the group Romper Room Gang and building a local following with raw, street-oriented lyrics. By the early 1990s, he was gaining traction in the Bay Area's underground scene, known for its independent hustle and regionally loyal fan base. In 1992, his career was abruptly derailed. Federal authorities accused him of conspiracy related to a string of bank robberies committed by associates in what became known as the Romper Room Gang case. Prosecutors alleged that his lyrics were used to inspire or reference criminal activity. In 1993, he was convicted and sentenced to prison. He would serve several years in federal custody, a period that reshaped both his image and his artistic voice. Mac Dre was released from prison in 1996. The mid-1990s Bay Area rap scene had evolved, but the independent model remained strong. Rather than signing to a major label, he leaned into independence. He founded Thiz Entertainment and began releasing music at a relentless pace. Throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, he cultivated a distinct persona, playful, charismatic, unpredictable. He became one of the leading figures of the hyphy movement, a high-energy cultural wave centered in the Bay Area that blended eccentric fashion, slang, and music built for movement. By the early 2000s, Mac Dre was not just a rapper, he was a regional icon. His influence extended beyond Vallejo into Oakland, San Francisco, and Sacramento. He collaborated widely, mentored younger artists, and built a loyal following without mainstream radio dominance. His success represented something powerful, a self-sustaining West Coast independent empire. Meanwhile, in Kansas City, Missouri, Anthony Watkins was carving out his own path. Born in 1981, he would become known as Fat Tone.
Half a dozen home invasions, not to mention carjacking, street heist, even potentially murder, all of them linked in some way to Fat Tone.
Like many regional rappers outside major coastal hubs, he built his reputation locally. Kansas City's rap scene was smaller and less nationally visible than the Bay Area's, but it had its own history and competitive edge. Fat Tone began releasing music in the late 1990s and early 2000s, affiliating with local artists and developing a street-centered image. He was associated with the Kansas City group 57th Street, Rogue, Dog, Villains, and had connections within Midwest rap circuits. As independent distribution became easier in the early 2000s, regional artists increasingly collaborated across state lines. The underground network was expanding. Sometime in the early 2000s, Mac Dre and Fat Tone crossed paths through business. Accounts differ on the exact nature of their arrangement, but it is widely reported that there was a financial dispute involving show bookings in Kansas City. Mac Dre had traveled to perform in the Midwest, and disagreements allegedly arose over payment and contractual terms. The precise details have never been fully documented in court, and much of what circulated afterward came from street narratives and secondhand accounts. What is documented is this. On October 30th, 2004, Mac Dre was in Kansas City following a performance. In the early hours of the morning, while traveling on Interstate 70 in Kansas City, Missouri, the van he was riding in was shot at multiple times. He was struck and killed. He was 34 years old. Police investigated the killing as a targeted attack. Initial reports suggested the shooting may have stemmed from a dispute related to the show. However, authorities did not immediately arrest anyone. In the days following his death, speculation intensified within the Bay Area. Mac Dre was not just an artist, he was a symbol. His killing felt personal to fans and affiliates. 3 weeks later, on November 19th, 2004, Fat Tone was shot and killed outside a nightclub in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was 23 years old. The timing immediately drew attention. Two rappers connected by an alleged financial dispute, both dead within weeks of each other. Law enforcement in Las Vegas investigated Fat Tone's killing. In 2005, authorities arrested Mac Minister, a Bay Area rapper whose real name is Andre Dow.
Confusion everywhere, violence escalating to some degree.
Prosecutors allege that Mac Minister orchestrated the murders of Fat Tone and his associate, Jermaine Cowboy Akins, in retaliation for Mac Dre's death. According to court records, investigators believe the Las Vegas killings were acts of revenge tied to the earlier Kansas City shooting. It is important to note that while Mac Minister was charged and later convicted in 2008 for the murders of Fat Tone and Akins, he was not charged in Mac Dre's killing. Authorities did not publicly name Fat Tone as a suspect in Mac Dre's murder before his own death. The belief that Fat Tone was responsible for setting up or facilitating Mac Dre's shooting has circulated widely in street accounts and media narratives. But the full circumstances surrounding Mac Dre's death remain unresolved. No one has been convicted for Mac Dre's murder. In 2008, Mac Minister was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the Las Vegas murders. Prosecutors argued the killings were deliberate retaliation. The court proceedings cemented a legal link between the deaths, even if some underlying questions about the initial Kansas City shooting remained unanswered. The chronology is stark. October 30th, 2004. Mac Dre is shot and killed in Kansas City. November 19th, 2004. Fat Tone is shot and killed in Las Vegas. 2005. Mac Minister is arrested. 2008. Conviction and life sentence. Beyond the legal record lies the cultural impact. Mac Dre's death sent shockwaves through the Bay Area. The hyphy movement continued to surge in the mid-2000s, with artists like E40 and Keek Da Sneak gaining wider exposure, but Mac Dre's absence was deeply felt. He had been both architect and ambassador. His independent blueprint influenced countless artists who saw in him a model for regional dominance without corporate control. Fat Tone's death reverberated through Kansas City's rap community. At 23, his career was still developing. While he did not have the same national recognition as Mac Dre, he was a known figure locally. His killing especially under the shadow of retaliation allegations, reinforced how quickly business disputes in the music industry could turn fatal when intertwined with street affiliations. The story of their intertwined deaths reflects a broader truth about early 2000s hip-hop outside the mainstream spotlight. Independent rap thrived on direct connections between artists and promoters, often without formal contracts, corporate mediation, or security structures common in major label tours. That freedom created opportunity. It also carried risk. Mac Dre's career was defined by reinvention. From federal prison inmate to hyphy pioneer, he transformed adversity into mythology. His lyrics evolved from strictly street narratives to a more playful, flamboyant persona that celebrated individuality. By the time of his death, he had released dozens of projects and built a brand that extended beyond music into slang, fashion, and lifestyle. Fat Tone's trajectory was shorter and less documented nationally, but his name became permanently attached to one of the Bay Area's most painful chapters. Whether he played a direct role in Mac Dre's killing remains a matter of allegation and belief rather than courtroom proof. What is proven is that his own murder was prosecuted as revenge connected to that earlier loss. Two regional rap scenes, two ambitious artists, a business relationship that fractured, a highway shooting in Missouri, a nightclub execution in Nevada, and a cycle of violence that left families, fans, and communities searching for clarity. More than 2 decades later, Mac Dre's music continues to echo across Northern California. Murals bear his likeness. His name is invoked in songs by younger artists who were children when he died. He is remembered as a cultural innovator whose influence far outlived his 34 years. Fat Tone's legacy is quieter, more localized, but still present within Kansas City's rap history. His death is often mentioned in the same breath as Mac Dre's, a reminder of how quickly disputes can escalate when pride, money, and reputation collide. The official timeline is clear. The emotional one is not. Mac Dre's murder remains unsolved in the sense that no one has been convicted for pulling the trigger. Fat Tone's murder resulted in a life sentence for the man prosecutors said ordered it. But justice, in cases like these, rarely restores what was lost. Their stories are not just about rivalry or retaliation. They're about a moment in hip-hop when independence meant vulnerability as much as freedom. When regional fame could make someone powerful at home, but exposed on unfamiliar turf. When business disagreements could bleed into personal vendettas. In the end, what binds Mac Dre and Fat Tone is not just speculation about motive. It is the undeniable fact that within a span of 20 days in 2004, two rising forces from different corners of American rap were silenced, and the aftermath reshaped both of their cities' music scenes. One highway shooting, one nightclub ambush, a chain reaction that still lingers in the background of West Coast rap history. The music continues. The questions remain.